Man, I just have to, every time that song comes on.
It is a good song, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. Look at all these awesome people that are here.
I know, right?
Thanks everybody for showing up. We got a great guest tonight.
We got BJ, we got Paul, we got Laura.
Yeah.
Some great people coming in here.
Thanks everybody. Got a great guest, Mr. Stephen Watson.
Oh yeah.
Been on the show at least once, I know, right?
Maybe
Maybe.
half a time.
Yeah.
He's probably one of our most most guests. I think so. Maybe.
He's probably been on more than anybody else has.
Yeah.
He might run pretty close with Lori Hines. I know she's been on quite a few times.
Oh yeah.
So
I know that Stephen has got a lot of good information and good stories and stuff from around here.
Knows a lot of lore about this area and stuff like that and stuff. So it's fun to talk to him. And I've got something to share with everybody that was told to me today. So whenever we bring him on, I'll talk about it because I'm sure it's going to make him like, what?
Hey, Oscars.
Hey, Oscars. How you doing?
Yep, like David said, we got Stephen Watson. He is from Arcane Discoveries. He's from around here in Tellico Plains area and Ball Play, Coker Creek, City Co, all these creepy places. And he knows a lot of stuff. So, hello, Jason Finch.
Hey, Jason.
So we'll bring him on, right? Let him tell you about himself, which everybody might know already. There he is.
What's up, everyone?
Uh-oh.
His microphone's muted.
Muted.
Oh, sorry, wrong button. Technical difficulties. Fat fingered something. What's up, everyone?
So, tell us about yourself.
Well,
Yeah.
do we want to start with that, or I want to hear the story, or do we want to start with me?
Do you want the story? It sounds like you want the story.
I want the story. I'm a sucker for a story now.
Okay, so this story starts this last weekend in, where did I tell you before?
Cades Cove.
Yeah, that's right, in Cades Cove.
Mm-hmm.
See, you were listening.
Oh yeah.
So, it was this man, his daughter, and his grandkids. I think it was his grandson, maybe. But anyway, they was driving around, and since his daughter knows a lot of the less traveled gravel roads that go through there,
Mm-hmm.
and so they were back on this gravel road. There was no one else around them, and this gravel road kind of dead ends to this almost cul-de-sac where there's this older house that's kind of condemned.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to go in it, but you could, be around it and stuff. They just ask you not to go in it. And so they get there, they have their windows down because, they're looking for the wildlife. They're looking for the bears. They're looking for, all the stuff that you usually see there. And all of a sudden, out of the wood line, they said that behind where this old house is, it's so thick that you can't even hardly see into the woods. And he says that they've got the windows down, and all of a sudden, they hear a child's voice out of the woods go, "Help, I want my mother." He said this not once, not twice, but 5 times.
Wow.
5 times. Now, there's nobody looking for their kid. There's no one even around in this area.
Yeah.
And so he's like, man, that hair on my arms is standing up on this. And I was like,
So are mine.
That could be all kinds of stuff,
Lord.
You're talking about that area, so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're amazing. I said, I bet you didn't get me no audio, did you? And he's like, no.
I mean, you're talking about an ancient area up there. It's got a lot of past and grief and everything else in between that's happened in that area. I mean, the sky's the limit what could be up there, what's possessing it and everything. I mean, this is just the truth of it.
Yeah.
But the clear audio that this person heard helped me 5 times. That's luring somebody into.
My mama, you know. It's
yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, that's no good.
Mama! Mama!
My Appalachian ancestors say no.
His daughter was driving. He said he turned to his daughter and was like, "Did you hear that?" She's like, "Yes."
That was a big no-no growing up. If you heard your voice, you heard your name, you heard a voice or a voice that you're familiar with in the middle of the night, do not go after it. That's a huge no-no, because it's on one of them old haints just trying to get you in the woods.
Yes.
That's all it is.
No, I mean,
just like that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's just like, with your son, when he had that experience.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always tell him to go down the trail and stuff. Yeah, don't go.
No, you don't.
Laura says, never go towards the voice.
Never.
Yep. No. It's funny, though, because you have tales of Bigfoot doing stuff like that. But you've also got, really old tales from the Celtic religions, or the Celtic, Irish Celtic and stuff, which inhabited all this area too.
Correct.
And they believe that they do the same thing.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Even the Cherokee have the legend of the Spearfinger, where she would, manipulate, I know I said that wrong, children, and she would feast on their livers. That's the old Cherokee legend.
Yep.
To lure them out and harvest them and this, that, and the other. So, some people even say her spirit's still roaming around. I have a hard time with that, but could it be possible? Who knows? But
yeah, Beaver says don't whistle at nighttime or don't whistle back. That's something that you hear a lot in the Appalachian Mountains is don't go into the woods and whistle and all kinds of stuff like that.
When we were growing up, when we was out going coon hunting stuff, our dogs were pretty trained. If we hollered for them, they'd come back to us if we was up there in the mountains. And I'll never forget it. There was one night we was up there. I was still younger, kind of, getting into this, kind of get my feet wet in the coon hunting world. And we were up there one night, and my dog at the time was what they call slick treeing, where they jump tree to tree and everything. And so I was like, well, I'm trying to get this dog back, and he'll listen to me. So I started whistling for him. My papaw about yanked me up off the ground, out of my boots, and said, do not do that. And I'm like, why? He said, you don't do that out here. He said, well, that's why we train these dogs. When we holler for them, we have a certain holler we would train our dogs to listen to. And I to this day, well, I don't coon hunt anymore, but to this day, if I ever had another dog, I would train that dog to come to me without whistling, because you coon hunt at night, and that's something you do not do.
Coon hunting.
Oh, yeah.
I went coon hunting a long time ago, man. That was the worst thing I ever did.
Oh, man. Don't get me started.
50 miles, and I don't know. It was just crazy. I had these flashlight, the old head flashlight you wear with the big battery pack on the side. Oh, Lord.
Yeah. That was my thing, son. I don't get me started on that. We'll be here all night just talking coon hunting. I've got so many don't get me started on that. That was my thing.
There is one story I do want you to tell, though.
Overly says, do your whistle, please.
So I can't do it. I'm on stage. I can't do it. Shell shock. I've never been a good whistler anyways. Papo had it, but it's just simply, if we did a whistle for our dogs during the day, it was just like something like that. But when we would holler for them, it was normally like a yeah, something like that. And I know my neighbors are hearing like, what in the world are you doing?
He's in the car talking to him, so
that's
we need to over here.
Yeah. But yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's what we did. That's what we used to do. We didn't whistle for them at night when we was coon hunting. We'd holler for them. And for some reason, that word didn't draw no haints. But, it is what it is. So
It's crazy.
That's funny.
Us Southerners, we got a lot of crazy things, that we do.
oh yeah, and you say that it's funny. Today at work, I work with a bunch of people from up north, and they're not used to me and my traits and stuff like that. It's like today they said, hey, can I borrow your knife? I was like, yeah, sure. So I handed them the knife, and they did what they did to it. They handed it to me. They went to hand it to me with it still up. I said, no. You're going to close that. Well, why? I said, because that's bad luck. Oh, you and your superstition. I said, hey, hey, I'm serious. It'll happen. So,
Yeah.
we're deep rooted in, especially me and my growing up.
Overtly
Yeah.
same whistle, but you did get her cat's attention.
Yeah. Oh, Lord. You said you want me to tell one particular story there, David? What was it?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did.
I wanted you to tell when the dog went missing and you tracked it with the collar.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so do I need to give the backstory to what happened in the same area with me 2 weeks before?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's this portion of the mountain that I used to deer hunt pretty heavily up there in Tellico Plains in the South Cherokee National Forest. We had been scouting this area out for deer and stuff like that. We had really good signs of deer and everything else in there. So I got up one Saturday morning, I believe it was, or Friday morning, something like that, one morning, and Papo usually went with me. He was my hunting partner back in the day, and he usually went with me, but he had to go to work. This man's almost 80-year-old today and still logs, if that tells you anything how dedicated he is to working. But anyways, he had to go to work, and I thought, well, I'll go up there to that spot and I'll go hunt. So I go up there, I get there, well before daylight. I usually, back in the day, would try to get to my spot at least an hour and a half before daylight come out and get settled in and whatnot. I had a pretty good hike back from the road. It was right about roughly 3.5 to 5 miles, something like that. It's been a long time. I'd have to retrack it, but so I get there. It's dark. It's early in the morning. I walk in. Nothing really happens. I get to my spot, and I sit down for the day. Pretty much. There's nothing. Like I said, nothing happened during that morning, and I get to my spot. I sit down there and just looking around, waiting to see what comes through. There was a couple of does come through, and this big old hog come through. I mean, he was a big one. I thought, you'd be fun, but I don't want to drag you out by myself. He was a pretty good size one, but he didn't pay me no mind. He went on his way. Well, as I'm sitting there looking at the sun and watching it, and I'm like, I got a pretty good timely hike out of here. I think it's about time for me to go. So I get my gear, get it all packed up, backpack on, and start walking out. So I hunted off. There's an old logging road back there, or old road bed Forestry Service used. And from it to my tree I was sitting at was right about a half a mile. So I started making that half mile. Actually, it's about more like a mile. Making that mile trip out, and didn't notice anything. But when I hit the road bed, I got down through her about maybe 3/4 a mile, and I hear a crunch to my right. So I kind of stop and listen. I don't hear nothing, so I keep on walking. Then I started hearing it a little bit more, and I'd stop again, and then I wouldn't hear nothing. So I'm thinking, maybe this is a bear that's trying to keep up with me or something, Maybe he's hungry or something. I don't know, So I go walking on out, and I can hear footfalls. At the time, I wasn't into Bigfoot or nothing else like that. I wouldn't be able to tell you if it's 2 feet or 4 feet. I could just hear something stepping. It was pretty heavy, probably about 60 yards to my right. So I hear it, and I stop again, and it stops. I actually heard the last footfall when it put its foot down. I heard it. And I thought, okay, this is an old bear. He's hungry. He smells my honey bun I've got in my back or something like that. He's hungry, So at this point, I take my old Marlin 30-30. I rest it in my shoulders or on my chest, and I just start talking. I start being loud and talking to bear like, hey, bear, I know you're there, and this, that, and the other, And I go walking out, and I can still hear it keeping up with me and stop and walking. But every time I would stop, it would stop. And this went on the whole trip out, the whole way out. And every time it'd get every about half a mile, it'd get about 10 yards closer. So finally, I sped up, and it would speed up. I would stop, it would stop. And I'm just thinking, what is this bear doing? You know, what in the world could he be doing? What's his deal? Why is he stalking me like this? So I just went on about my business. I thought, well, he's up there, he'll leave me alone. So I kept on walking, and I keep hearing him get closer and closer. I'm like, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. On this roadbed I've got, there's an open field to my right, and on the back side of this field there's a big dip. So whatever's following me has to drop off. If I cut to the right into the field, it's going to have to drop off into the holler, that bowl, that little V dip there. And then I come out in the field, and then I should be able to hear it come up behind me when I'm in the field. So, I'm thinking this in my head. I'm not talking out loud. So I get to the curve in the roadbed there, and I jump there's a little ditch there. I jump the little ditch, hit the field, and I hear it crash down into the bowl. And then I can hear it coming up, and in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I'm gonna turn around like 3, 2, 1. I spin around and put my hand ready to go on the trigger, on the hammer if I had to. Turn around, and there was nothing. This thing, when it was coming up behind me up this ridge, it should have been right at the field. Like the way it sounded, it should have been right there. And I don't understand why it didn't come out, and I just stand there and look, and I can hear little movement, but not much. And I thought, well, this is weird. So I go looking and everything. Next thing I know, I see this big black shadow, tall shadow, that kind of went over the lard thicket that was there. Excuse me. And you just see it start down the back side of the bowl. Now, keep in mind, the way the sun's going down, it's kind of beaming me in the eyes too. And so whatever this is, just a big shadow. And I just see it gradually go off down the side of that bowl, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna get out of here. So instead of going back to the roadbed, I just dropped straight off the holler straight to my truck. And I get to my truck, and I hear a big knock way off in the distance. And I thought, what in the world is going on? At the time, I didn't know none of this Bigfoot stuff and stuff like that. And I got in the truck and I left. So that was that. But 2 weeks later, just not even maybe 4 miles down the road, we were up there. It's hog and bear season, and we was up there running dogs, bear hunting, stuff like that. It was a good day. This kid that never got to harvest his own bear, he got to harvest one. It was a wonderful day. We helped him get it out. But we had dogs. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me backtrack there.
You're getting too excited.
I am. This story gets me excited every time.
Hello, Michelle.
So let me back up just a little. So when we first started what we call the race, when we find a hot track of a dog or a bear that's across the road somewhere, we turn the dogs loose and they go on and chase the bear. Well, this guy that was with us had 2 young pups. They were being trained and whatnot. We packed them in with the rest of the pack. We're sitting there watching them on the Garmin, and we see the 2 young pups. They break off from the main pack. So they might break off and go their own way, and the main pack goes following the bear that actually got harvested, the little boy got. So we seen that. We thought, okay, we'll just catch up with them later. They've got this tracking system on it. We were using Garmin Astro 320 tracking systems back in that day. And, we seen them break off. We thought, okay, we'll come back for them like we normally do. They'll be fine. We got tracks on them. Like I said, the boy harvested the bear. Now it was time to start the real work and gather up all the dogs. So we get all the dogs gathered up. Most of them were right there where the bear was when the little boy harvested it. And so we thought, okay, let's go over here and get these 2 young pups. Well, the one pup, because the one had actually caught back up, and the collar was still beeping down there where we had seen where the 2 pups had split off. The one pup stayed and the one pup left. We don't know if the dog lost his collar, he got scared and laid down there and was waiting for one of us to come get him, because that stuff happens. So all the dogs got gathered up except for that one, and we park up on top of at the roadbed above where he was at. And we start walking down through the road, and we're watching on our Garmins And we're looking around. We come up. It's not opening no more like it used to be. It's got little shrubs and stuff growing up in it. And then there's a big pine tree right in the center of this opening. And we're beeping, and like this dog's saying it should be like right here. It's saying it's right here. And we're looking around, and we don't see a dog physically laying here. And I just happened to look over in this little brush looking pile of like leaves and sticks and shrubs and stuff like that. I see an orange antenna with a black tip, and that's what the Garmins used to be, the Garmin collars used to be back in the day. And I'm sitting there and looking, I'm like, what's this doing here? And I move some stuff, and I reach down, I feel the collar. I reach down and pull the collar up, and there's the dog, dead. So we took this dog and pulled him. Now, keep in mind, he was covered up with like shrubs, leaves, and sticks and stuff like that. So we dug him out, pulled him out of the shrubs, and was looking at him, and this dog's head was completely smashed. It looked like, to me, like you took this dog and put his head like this and just did that. That's exactly what this dog's head looked like. The whole skull, the cranium, whatever you want to call it, was crushed. Part of the vertebrae and the neck was broken. And this dog had matter coming out of its ear. I'm sorry to be too vulgar, but it was kind of paint a picture. And there was no scratch marks. There was no claw marks, nothing like that. We're just sitting here looking like, what in the world happened to this dog? You know, we thought he may have gotten in a fight with a big old bear, and the bear just swatted him. I've seen dogs' jaws get broken. You know, it's the part of bear hunting, I'm sorry to say, but, you know, but this dog's head was completely just smushed. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen in my life. And it's just weird how coincidental that is to what happened to me 2 weeks prior in the same area pretty much. And that's that story. We kind of just shrugged it off and thought it was a bear. But now getting in this research and how dogs and Bigfoot interact with one another, it's possible it was a Bigfoot. And the Bigfoot seen he did a no-no and thought, oh no, what do I do? And he covered up. I think it could now even been a young one. He messed up. He was up, you know, something happened. He had feelings, so he thought he would just hide his mistake, kind of like a toddler would do, you know. So yeah, that's that story.
That's pretty wild.
It is.
That's an amazing story, though.
Yeah, I love hearing it.
And that place is just centered around so much Bigfoot activity. Here I go with that word, Bigfoot encounters and stuff like that, and reports and everything, because this sits at the top. This particular spot sits before you get to Inner Boundary Campground, and we all know what's behind Inner Boundary Campground. That's Cityco, and Cityco is just eat up with all sorts of just encounters and everything else in between. Rocks being thrown on them, hollers, or camps being circled. And I mean, everything else in between. Me and my son got out there, I think it's been about a year ago now. We seen one cross the road up there. It's just a hot spot. And plus, the rumor is Dogman inhabits Rafter. You know, there's an area called Rafter up there. And Rafter's just a weird place in general. It's very dark. It's very weird. It's always has been. And it's just a big epic center for stuff happening. And plus, you know, every time we're up on this portion of the mountain during the spring doing some turkey hunting, we always hear weird noises, weird hollers, weird yells, and such things like that. And plus, this is the same area where they say they're not here, but me and my kids had a red wolf jump out in front of us on the trail. So, really. It wasn't no coyote, it wasn't overgrown coyote, it wasn't the colored coyote, it was a straight up red wolf.
Right.
No ifs and buts about it.
Well, I know that they, was going to try to reintroduce them, but then they said that they started having problems. They was catching, what is that? It's some kind of disease or something, and so they culled them all.
Yeah.
Or culled them, but they took them and moved them back away. But it sounds to me like they didn't get them all.
No, I don't think they did, honestly. And
I think is what it was.
And if you follow some things about the Great Smoky Mountains, I think it was last year, they were working to try to reintroduce a group of red wolves back into the Smoky Mountains, which I'm okay with. That we need that predator back in these woods to help control deers and all this other stuff. It's vital to the ecosystem. I've even seen a cougar up there, or a mountain lion, whatever you want to call it.
So Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot says, have to wonder why something hammered the dog and buried it. What buries its dead?
I wouldn't necessarily say it was buried. It was just covered up in like shrubs and sticks and stuff like that.
Like it was being hid.
Right, yeah.
It.
It hit it pretty good because we didn't see it till I walked up there on it.
Laura was asking why didn't they eat the dog?
I couldn't tell you. That's why I'm saying I think it was a younger Bigfoot. He was probably out where he shouldn't have been and had this run-in. He made a mistake. He had feelings. Who knows? We won't know unless we got to talk to the actual Bigfoot that was there. I think it was a Bigfoot. That me personally.
So I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So in the making of our movie,
Okay.
you gave me some footage
Yep.
that was put in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason was over that day, and we were listening to. We had just put it in, and Jason was listening to it, and Jason goes, "Oh my God, that actually said something."
Y'all caught it and I didn't. I've listened to that thing 1,000 on thousands of times, and I never did catch it until you all put it in the documentary. And kudos to you all, great. I'm glad y'all find that, but it makes me not want to go back out there. That's all there is to it. You know, I just, that right there ultimately freaked me out. And the more I let my son listen to it and he kind of gets into it with me, he's like 85% that same tone of voice is what he was hearing in his head. He had described it at first when this first happened, a male voice. But the more we kind of ponder on this and I let him listen to it, he's thinking that tone or whatever could have actually been what was in his head telling him to go down the road. And it's crazy that they even mentioned that guy you talked to there in the documentary. He said they even had that little girl, the little girl was being told by her friend in her head to go out and play and everything. And that's just wild. It just gives me goosebumps just talking about it. God.
It was going out there. Jason and I and him was going out there to film.
Mm-hmm.
And he told us that story going down because he thought that when you were talking about it, that you were talking about the girl. And I said, no. He was talking about his son getting that. And then he told Jason and me the story of the little girl where this thing was telling her to go down the trail and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's got to be in the movie.
God,
the two stories just line up perfectly.
Yeah.
You know?
God, it just makes my skin crawl.
Hey, Stephen.
Yeah.
I see you.
Hey, don't start that. I'll have Paul back here behind me protect me.
See you, Stephen.
The only thing that sees me right now is you all and this Paul thing back here. I named him Paul.
I seen that on Facebook or wherever you posted it. I seen Paul.
Yeah, that's Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just crazy. And, and something I wish, this made me think of a question. My son, love him to death, not talking ill about him or anybody else's child. He has ADHD, ADD. He had some anger issues at the time, he and everything else. And I would take him out and take him for a cruise, and that's why we was out there, And he had a spell where he got really upset, and I took him out for a cruise and took him out there. So this makes me wonder, children with this not mental illness, but this I'm trying to think of the right word to say, but with these conditions have a better connection to whatever's out there, you know what I mean, or the paranormal or anything in general. Of course, my mom always said that kids are always more sensitive and more vulnerable to the paranormal, and it's just like, she always said the devil's going to come after your children, stuff like that. So it just makes me think if there was something with this child, the little girl, if she suffered from the same things. You know what I mean? But it's not happened again since he's been out there. He's got older and everything and bigger since then, and nothing's never happened. So I don't know. It's just a weird thought. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, I've been able to see these things my whole life, and I think everybody has that. I think that at some point, a lot of people lose it, and it's not for their own. It's just because they're always told, "Oh, it's fake. It's not real."
Right.
Imaginary friend. It's you just fill in the blank because there's as many as you could think of.
Correct.
And luckily, for whatever reason, my mom never did that to me, which is weird because I mean we were as diehard as you could be when it came to church.
Right.
I mean, we went to Christian private school every year. We went to Christian Bible camps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's our whole world just revolved around that.
Right.
And for me to be one of those kids that didn't get told that is pretty interesting to me.
Well, that's just like me, My papa on my daddy's side, he's a fire and true hard brimstone, runs the pews, hollers and everything else, claps his hand, pastor, a Baptist pastor. And when I try to talk about him these things, it gets brushed away because he always said, if it ain't in the Bible, it ain't true, And that got stoned in my head, but I always had a weird finch or weird obsession with the paranormal. And we would go out and hunt these things in high school and stuff like that. Just kind of like, I would say now, in a rebel against him and his teachings. But, I haven't talked to him about it in a while, but I would love to sit down and have a conversation. Like, well, what about Jesus and his healing powers, Papa? Wouldn't it be like a paranormal phenomenon? If you want to say that. But I can relate to you with that because I grew up in that same atmosphere in a Baptist church, and we've even been invited to the snake handling churches. I've got kinfolk, I've got kinfolk that, not making fun of it or anything else or anybody's religion, but I've got kinfolk that's actually, I can't remember the denomination, they actually are this close to handling snakes. They speak in tongues and preach and everything else, but they're this close to handling snakes. But it's just weird,
Yeah. Laura asked, has anything happened out of the normal at your home since after the experience? Just wondering about the whole hitchhiker type thing.
No, unfortunately it did not. So it's crazy. We was talking about the faith thing, and I got back to my faith, and I come home. We prayed over the house and everything else. I took some old scripture and stuff like that and kind of prayed over it. And at the time, we were moving some rock around here at the place, and I found a lot of good what's that white rock? I'm blanking. Quartz, yeah. I found some good quartz rock, and Mama's mom on my mama's side always talked about how it could be good or it could be evil, depending on how you do it. So after this had happened, I prayed over the house and I spread quartz rock all underneath the house to bring good energy, good vibes over it and everything. I even got underneath the house and did all that, and I just. And yeah, I took some we got some of these salt rocks here too. You break up, it's real gritty. I took it and threw it underneath the house as well. So I took the natural salt and everything that was here on the place itself and used it as an insulator, as if you will. But no hitchhiker effect ever came home.
That's good.
Yeah, I was really glad of that. Of course, when it happened, I stopped and we collected ourselves. We left and we collected ourselves, and we got out there and we just kind of said, you can't come home with us. You have to stay here. This is your domain. You cannot follow us. You're not allowed to.
Intention is everything.
Correct.
And so what you set your attention towards and at does everything for you.
Correct.
And I've had it many a times where I've had the intention.
Yeah.
But I mean, any time that you're out doing any kind of stuff like that, you need to start and end whatever it is you're doing with that same intention, right? You need to start it with saying, look, I'm here to do ABC, and we're just going to interact in this way. I'm setting the intention that this is how we're going to interact, and that's going to be the end of this interaction. You cannot leave with it. You cannot do anything else.
Well, it's even like, when me and my kids and my family, we're all hunters and stuff like that. Even when we go out into the woods to go hunt, they call me crazy, but I've done it since I was young. Even if it's in the dark, I would talk to the woods and be like, I'm hearing, pretty much. I would speak it sometimes out loud. I would do it in my head, but I would announce that we're here in peace. We mean no harm. We're here to offer what the land has to provide to feed us and give to us. And such things in that nature, because you got to treat it with respect, or it's going to kick you right in the teeth right back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the natives did a lot of that too. And the thing is to not only respect your surroundings and everything in it, but when you pay that respect, a lot of the old world, when you're talking about stuff and they're talking about the Fae. If you don't do those kinds of things, then the Fae is going to make you pay for it. Oh
yeah, definitely. It's like you talk about the Fae and how the Celtic or the Norse, attributes are here, and it's even. I mean, good Lord, you look at there was a cave in Middle Tennessee that was that was kind of covered up, where they found Norse writings and stuff on the cave. So that they were here. That type of, and plus our ancestors, even my ancestors being kind of Irish, Scot-Irish and stuff like that, they brought that stuff with them. So it was here, And talking about the Fae, where I was getting to, I was told a story. It's probably been about 3 or 4 years now that, there was an apparition or a figure that was portrayed, being portrayed as looking like Cernunnos, if you're familiar with it. Cernunnos in Vonor. It was the way it was described to me and told to me, it was a very tall figure with horns, not horns like a deer, but horns like an elk. Very skinny, elongated body, and very dark. Was being seen in Vonor at one point in time. I haven't heard nothing about it in a long time, but I had a guy reach out to me not too long ago about some weird, crazy screams and noises happening in Vonor down there on the river, And I've got good Lord, don't get me started on that whole area, because that place is just eat up with just bad juju, if you will.
What was the name of that?
Cernunnos.
Cernunnos.
Yeah, Cernunnos.
I'll have to look that up. That's interesting.
Cernunnos is an ancient Greek god. Maybe it may not be Greek. It's something of that same aspect of Celtic and Irish and everything else. And it was a man with antlers that was funny enough, was a entity of love and respect. You know what I mean? I think I may be wrong. It's been a long time since I looked into it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
That's my heritage too, Scot-Irish.
Yeah. I've got Cherokee in me and Scot-Irish.
Yeah.
So.
Overly Overstocked Oscar says she has family that sounds just like Steven, almost word for word.
I get told that all the time. Everybody's like, anybody ever told you talk funny? And I look at them like, well, I can tell you the same thing.
As soon as people told me, I sound like Bill Landry.
You do. You do. You really do. A deeper Bill Landry, a deeper voice Bill Landry. I love it. We got to get you some narrating some stories.
Yeah, I'm going to try to make a few stories for us.
Yeah. Definitely.
And you said that it was a kind of a tall, thin, with horns.
Yeah, that's what it was told to me. Yeah.
First thing popped in my head was Wendigo.
See, that's what I thought, but the person that told me said it reminded him of Cernunnos, and that I just ran with it, you know what I mean? But I'm like you, Wendigo. Wendigo is more like a thing around here, but more than a skinwalker, or it could, or they're both the same thing. but people say there's 2 different sizes of each one. I mean, who knows? You know what I mean? So,
Cernunnos,
Yeah, I'm
ancient
trying to,
deity of nature, fertility, wealth, and the underworld.
that's it. Yep, that's it.
how do you spell that?
Cernunnos.
Oh, wow.
Yep,
Huh.
that's it. That is it.
That's crazy. Yeah. See if I can put a picture up.
Yeah, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot hit it right there on the nail on the head.
Yep.
So that was seen in Vonore.
That was told to me. Yeah, I'll tell you where it come from. Janice Carter and her crew. If anybody's familiar with that or ever met with her, I know people have certain opinions about her, but I feel like she's like, you know, a book of knowledge with Scott Carpenter. She even was with Scott Carpenter on some things as well. You know, you had to take her for what she was, how she was really excited. Let's put that she was really excited for the subjects and everything else. I mean, Lord, she's got a book out that where she lived with Bigfoot for 50 years and actually got to see grave sites, had interactions with these things, learned their language and everything else. I haven't heard from her in a very long time. She just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. But I know one of the last conversations we had, her and Ninja Dave, I think was her partner's name. They were Ninja Dave. They were digging into this encounter in Vonore.
Huh.
Over on the river.
Ninja Dave.
Ninja Dave.
I'm about to Judy chop you.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I remember that. You see here, this ain't just no normal dip.
This is a Judy chop.
Yeah. That's what he called himself. Yeah. They got told to them the encounter, and they told me about it, and that's where I got it from. Was the Cernunnos creatures being seen in Vonore.
That's interesting.
Very, and I wouldn't doubt it for a bit out of Vonore, just because of, look, I think Vonore is one of those places just like Star Mountain. It's a cursed place by the Cherokee. There may not be no folklore or told stories by the Cherokee, but come on. You took that land from those people, you murdered them, you covered up their graves, you did all that stuff, and why wouldn't you think something would be inhabited there to bring back?
Do you remember the story of the Thunderbird?
Yeah.
From the Cherokee?
Vaguely.
So
I vaguely remember it.
Occurred around Vonore.
Correct. You're right.
Yeah.
You
that
are
was
right.
Pretty wild.
I mean, this whole area that we're in, I'm in, y'all are in, it was I can't not remember how to pronounce the actual Cherokee name, but it was the Overhill community,
Yeah.
There's so many so many little camps and everything of them were sporadic through the area. I mean, they were everywhere. Especially, right there in the home place was right there, the Tennessee, which is where we get Tennessee from. Was Tennessee?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, I butchered the heck. I can't even say the name that's on my arm. And that I know that means home, but I can't pronounce it.
I think they, David probably tell you better, but I think they, when they covered up Tennessee, they moved to Shodo.
Yep. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
And it was just right around the corner.
Mm-hmm. It sure was.
It's pretty eerie out there too, because I've been a few times to just go out there and take some pictures and stuff.
And if you travel down the road to McMinn and Polk County, you got that stretch of mountain called Star Mountain, and that was named after a man called Caleb Starr, and he was a guy that was really loved by the Cherokee. He was respected by them. He even married their own kind. And Caleb Starr's firstborn son was enlisted with the Confederates. And when Andrew Jackson, my history right? Is that the president? Yeah, I think so. We'll go with it. When he made the order to have the Cherokee removed, his son was first in charge to remove his own kind from that mountain. And that mountain has had nothing but death, problems, sickness, and everything else. That I stay away from that mountain. That mountain is evil. I've had nothing but bad encounters on that mountain with either people or animals.
Now, is that located south of Tellico?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Polk County?
Polk County, McMinn. It makes up of Polk County, McMinn, and the lower Monroe.
Yeah. I've heard stories of Star Mountain.
I think Star Mountain's cursed. There's just all there is to it. Not a lot. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What?
I was just going to ask you, have you had any Dogman things happen or reports from people?
I've had a few, mainly in the lower mountain areas, not necessarily up on the mountain. I've heard encounter stories from people seeing them cross the highway down on 411, going to Polk County out of Etowah into Delano. I've heard that story. I've heard people having yells and hollers down that way. And then pretty much up this way is around any Dogman type activity. Sorry, I always get that word wrong. But it's mainly like the upper northern Monroe County area near Loudon County, around the lake and the river and everything. Howls, brief sightings. Scott Carpenter filmed one up there on the lake. I've actually have figured out, I'm pretty sure, about 90% sure we have figured out his research location in the Tellico Village area.
Huh.
Yep.
Really?
You know, there was...
Overtly ask a question.
what is Dogman?
A demon.
Is a dog?
The demon. I full-fledged think they're more of a spiritual demon more than Bigfoot. I think Bigfoot's what I would claim them as a supernatural being. We can get in that later. But Dogman, I think they have rules here as well, just like Bigfoot. They're an entity that, from what I've understand, from most stories about Dogman in any area and outside the area, they are an entity to scare you away and get you away from somewhere that you don't need to be there. They're that protect dog. They're a guardian. They look like Anubis. And what was Anubis? The guardian of the underworld. So why wouldn't Dogman be the same thing in the same sense? You know, in the modern days.
Laura asks, is there any orb or UAP activity?
UAP, UFO, wherever you want to call it. There's a spot up on the mountain that you can go to. Anybody can go to it. It's not, you don't have to hike a mile or whatever. So it would be the I cannot remember the name of the overlook. So if you're familiar with the Cherhollow Skyway, you go up the Skyway Road. You'll pass the entering boundary on your left as you're traveling up the mountain. You'll have Turkey Creek pull off to your right, and then very next pull off to your left, there'll be a big opening there. And you can see Vonore, Maryville, some parts of Knoxville, back down to like Massaville and stuff up there when the lights are up. We went up there and seen fireworks and stuff. But I have, and a few others have went up there before and have seen what people describe as a laser. Just looks like a laser point darting across the sky, very sporadic. But other than that, I would classify that as a UAP UFO. But that, not a whole lot of big UFO ships being seen. There was a guy I know seen a triangle looking UFO over the Dragon where he used to live, traveling down the road there. Orbs, oh Lord, I can tell you all sorts of stories about orbs, especially in Jeffrey's Hell. Jeffrey's Hell is eat up with orbs, fireball orbs, and there's even an orb, the story of the fireball Coke Creek Mountain. That's pretty much an orb, but it looks like, when people have seen it, a big ball of fire rolling down the mountain.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Very. That was our link to.
So that's what Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot says. Cynocephalus.
Yeah, the dog-headed saints.
Yep.
Yep. That's a pretty good read. You ought to dive into that. There was these saints that were blessed by God, pretty much. I may be butchering the story, but they were dog-headed men that served the church. It's a crazy story.
Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot says I've had crazy experiences at Cocoa Creek.
Let me tell you, Cocoa Creek is a breed of its own. And I'm not talking bad about the people up there or anything else, but that's a place where people would tell you, don't go up there and mess with those folks. Leave them alone. And there's actually a story about a little boy that got lost and a bear kept him warm till the rescuers found him. There's even a old report that I've read into about a kid when he was younger in 87 or 88. He was out there on Cocoa Creek playing in some garbage or something like that, is what the report said, by the road, and seen a 7-foot tall hairy creature walking the side of the road. And then I talked to a gentleman one time. They had bought some property from the forestry service to put a house there, a cabin, and while they were there doing it, they sound like stampede of horses would come through and stuff, smacking their camper, and it stopped them from going out and painting gold. And that's one thing about Coke Creek. Coke Creek is a place that a lot of people don't know about, but you can go up there and pan gold. But there's a lot of crazy things about Cocoa Creek. That's one of them areas. Let's put it this way: the Highway 68 that divides Cocoa Creek down to Star Mountain, that Blue Ridge Mountains area, I stay away from. There's so much bad come from there. So much bad. So much evil and bad stories.
Yeah, one of my ex-wife's grandfathers was from that area when he was probably, I don't know, 70 years old when I talked to him, but he would tell me about Coker Creek, Foreigner, so all those little areas up there, how poor they were.
Oh, yeah.
They were so poor that they had these places in Tellico they called CC camps that they trained people. I don't know exactly for what, I guess forestry or something like that.
They live off the land pretty much.
Yeah. So they would walk miles and miles down from Coker Creek to Tellico to get their scraps that they fed those people.
Yep. Yeah, I've heard the stories. The old timers. I used to sit with a bunch of them there at the old shed. I don't know if it's still there now at the community center. Used to sit there with the old timers, and boy, let me tell you the stories that come out of that shed, or even at the Hardys there, sitting with them, just all the stories that would come from that whole area, you know.
Every time I see the man, he said, "You ever hear Foreigner?"
Yeah.
You ever hear Coker Creek? Every time he'd tell me the same story.
Yep.
It was interesting. I liked it.
Oh yeah.
He told me he was seeing his girl, and she lived in Cleveland, which was his wife that passed away. But when they were younger, he would ride his bicycle from Coker Creek all the way to Cleveland.
Oh, good Lord! Wow.
That's crazy.
Let's see. There was, talking about the Fireball Coke Creek Mountain. There was these two brothers that lived up on the mountain, and they would walk to town and to get a ride to go to work. Well, one of the brothers had passed away, and the other one still needed to work. So he would walk down. He started noticing that there was this ball that would follow him, and every time he would walk every morning, he'd get closer. And it finally got close enough to him. It looked like this big, what he described as a big ball of fire, and it scared him. He run off. But over time, he learned that it was going the same route and the same way as he was going with his brother, and he just adopted it as his brother. So he would be seen walking with this ball of fire down the mountain to go to work, to go get a ride for work in town in Tellico. That was one that's told to me many, many times. Just like old Jeffrey's hell.
Oh, we need to go there.
Sometime. Yeah.
It's a hike back in there, but we could find a spot off the side of the road there that's plenty enough that something will happen. We can sit right there at the Witch's Cap.
How far is it off the road?
Well, you got to take Trail 105, and from the beginning off the road, from Trail 105, if I remember correctly, to where it turns into Jeffrey's Hell Trail, is right about 2.5, 3 miles. But I've had stuff happen on that road just right there that cuts through there, many times.
Mm-hmm.
So, balls of light, you can still hear Jeffrey and his dog Blue barking throughout the night up there. It's crazy. It's crazy over there. At the bear reserve too. Funny fact.
Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot says the boogers are all in Coker Creek. Says they'll test your heart. I've had them reach in my camper window and put their hand on my leg while I slept.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Fun.
Oh, I guarantee it.
I've heard stories of people that was sleeping with open windows at night, that something would reach their hand in and grab their face.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard stories like that.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of stories like that. They reach in and be curious. They're curious creatures. That's all there is to it. They'll reach in for your hair and your face features, your arms, your legs, whatever they can get a hold of, just to see if you're the same or if you're different, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Curious.
Very curious.
Well, Stephen, we got about 3 minutes, so won't you tell everybody where what all you got going on?
Well, again, guys, appreciate y'all having me back on. It's always a pleasure coming and talking with you all. We don't have a whole lot cooking right now with the cryptid world. We're in summer kickoff, and what that means is we're going to start bringing some more things than just cryptids. We've been getting a lot of trail riding and stuff here lately. We just posted our full-length hour and 45-minute video on our YouTube of us riding the Conasauga and what we call the Holly Flats Trail. There'll be a lot more of that coming on, and we're going to start exploring the ideas, start filming our hunts and stuff, because, we got thinking about it. Arcane Discovery is just more than just cryptids and such things like that. We're going to bring you East Tennessee here on your phone so you can see what we do and interact with us. Now, we're still into the cryptids and Bigfoot and everything. We don't get out and do it like we want to, but we still love the weird and love the fact that Bigfoot and Dogman. We still don't want to hear the stories, and we still want to interact with you all. And we've got some behind the scenes stuff we've investigated. I have some video clips and stuff like that I haven't released yet. There's not a whole lot, just some weird audio, weird feeling, stuff like that. But that's what you can look forward on Arcane going forward. We're going to be videoing our trails. We're going to be videoing our hunts. We're going to get out and do some more investigations hopefully soon. I know I've been saying that the last few times I've been here, but we're going to try to make this happen finally. But with some work slowing down, we're going to see what we can do. But yeah, just make sure to like us, follow us, share us. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube and TikTok. All Arcane Discoveries, YouTube and Instagram and TikTok is Arcane Discoveries 423. You can find us all there. You can find me there. I'm posting all the time. Shoot me a message. I'll answer you as quick as I can. If you want to shoot us an email, just email us at arcanediscoveries423@gmail.com. Would love to talk to you and reach out to you. Oh, and that reminds me, little tidbit here at the end. I've got to reach out to a guy that talked to me that says he has an end time prophecy. He's an end time prophecy pastor. I haven't been able to connect with him yet, but from what I'm understanding, it's really good. So we've got to reach out to that guy, and we'll record a phone call, and we're going to go to that, and hopefully we can post something like that. And thank you, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. I just seen the subscribe. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
All right, yeah, Stephen, we want to thank you for coming on, for sure.
Hey, anytime, my guys, anytime. I appreciate y'all, and again, thank you guys for featuring us in y'all's documentary. If anybody hasn't seen it, you need to go check it out. It's an amazing documentary.
I know, I'm going to make one suggestion for you.
Okay.
That I want to see from Arcane Discoveries is a video, an AI video about that crushed dog's head.
All right.
That would be so cool.
I'll see what I can do.
That story is awesome.
All right.
Or subbed.
Will you narrate it?
I will.
All right. Well, we'll see what we can do. We'll work out the details.
David can edit it pretty good, and I'll narrate it, and you just
see. There we go.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I've never thought about putting that to AI, but that's a pretty good idea. May have to do that.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
David, you gonna take us out?
Yes. Remember, everybody, connect with us at paranormal411.org. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube for all the latest updates. Join us live every Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturdays, actually, it's not Thursdays now. We're going to start doing Wednesdays, aren't we, Jason?
Yeah, just for a little bit because my son's practicing football on Thursdays, and I need to be there to help him out a little bit, you know.
Yep. So that'll be Wednesdays from 7 to 8, just like today. Saturdays from 8 to 10. Remember, you could also catch us on Subspace Radio on all major podcast platforms. We've got 3 books out. Don't miss our books. East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore Edition 2. A Comprehensive Guide to Paranormal Investigations, and The Haunted Ledger. They're all available on Amazon or directly through paranormal411.org. And remember, on paranormal411.org, we've got something new, don't we, Jason?
We do, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
We have a paranormal, this is thanks to David Reagan. We have a paranormal 411 evidence analyzer. And it is awesome. You can analyze your photos, your audio, your video. All you have to do, you can even download the little app to your phone. But all you have to do is become a free member. You get one analyst a month.
Yep.
For a free membership. I'll let David tell it because I can't remember all the amounts.
For the $2 member, you get 3 analysis a month. Then we go to the $10 membership, and then it's unlimited. You can do as many analysis as you want. And for teams out there, for people who are, 3, 4, 5 team members, it's $25 a month for unlimited for up to 5 team members. Tennessee Kentucky Bigfoot says they become a member a few days ago. Awesome.
Thank you.
If you have any pictures or anything that you think might have something in it, just run them through. I mean, it's worth a try. It gives you a nice little PDF form at the end of it that circles or tells you if it catches anything. It's pretty neat.
It is. There's nothing out there like it. And David's created this. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
let's try.
If you want your evidence analyzed by some AI,
like the Passion
it
Gimel
does
film.
work. We've tested it. It does work. Sometimes a little too much, but it does work.
I tried to dial some of that back because there's one picture, Jake. This thing did like 180 something circles. I mean,
I put a photo in of the Devil's Tramping Ground, and that thing circled like 2,236 things. I'm like, oh my God.
We need to run the Patty Gimel film.
There you go.
You know what it would say?
Real. Real.
It would say, on the fence.
I had to mention it. I was here. I had to mention it. Patty's real.
Tennessee Kentucky Bigfoot says that the page ran flawless, was easy and excellent. Thank you.
Cool.
I'll tell you, I know to look for you, Tennessee Kentucky Bigfoot. If you will email us, info@paranormal411.org, for anybody that signs up tonight. I know you did yesterday, so you'll go ahead but I'll go in, if you'll send us an email saying that you signed up for the free account on our website, I'll give you a month of the $10 membership for free. Won't we, Jason?
Oh,
We'll give it for free. And then you could use it as much as you want, the analyzer. So, Oh, and there's also the $10 memberships and the $25 memberships. Anytime we get a movie out, they're going to be there a week or two before it goes out on any other platform.
Yes, and we are already analyzing and working on our next movie,
Yes.
The Devil's Tramping Ground.
Yes.
So it'll be awesome. We didn't think we caught anything, but apparently we did, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. All kinds of crazy stuff. The analyzer picked up 70-something audio anomalies when I put it through.
Now I took a picture, and I think I'm going to bring it up. I'm gonna circle, put a red circle around it, and say, "Hey, I think something funny's going on here." But we'll see. We'll see what people think.
Yeah. I'm up for it. I think it'll be awesome.
Oh yeah. All right, man.
Appreciate y'all.
To get out of here. We want to thank Stephen. Thank everybody in the chat. Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot, Only Oscar, BJ, Paranormal Paul, all of you guys. And baby girl, I seen her in here.
Yep.
That's the first time I've seen her in here in a while.
And thank you, Laura, for
Thank
subbing.
you for coming in. We missed you if you've not been in. Michelle.
Yep.
Laura. Yeah. Thank everybody. And go check out Steven's Arcane Discoveries on Facebook. And you got YouTube?
We got Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
He's awesome.
He's everywhere.
He's a great guy to be around too. So
He's fun.
Try to be.
When people decide to fall off cliffs, he's there like, what the heck with you, you know? So,
yeah, right.
Right.
All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here.
See you,
See
everybody.
you Saturday. We got Brian Bowden from Third Eye Live coming on,
yes.
8 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll see you then.
Fog rolls down through the Tennessee pines, mud on the tires, moon shining bright, campfire burning by the old creek bed, stories of Bigfoot filling our heads. Fishing lines and them back road trails, Dogman cries when the cold wind wails. We chase the dark where the wild things roam, in the East Tennessee hills we call home. We're arcane discoveries running these ridges, crossing old creeks and burned out bridges, flashlight beams in the midnight sky, searching for truth where the shadows hide.